Hi, this is Paul. I thought that I was done with these videos. Maybe this is the absolute last one. I need information disseminated to the public about the medieval marketplace. Because more than likely, there's a lot of these organizations out here that just don't understand the nature of medieval times. Because the merchant was a very important figure in medieval times. I mean, if you had money, where would you spend it? You had to go buy things, right? And where would you go? You would go to the merchants who worked with the artisans and the craftsmen. He was the middleman, and he made lots of money selling things. Say perhaps you wanted to buy yourself a barrel of pickled fish or something. Or I think they were called them salted fish, is what they were. That's it. I was confused with pickled pig's feet. I don't know why I do that sometimes. But anyway, it would be a natural preservative, because there's no refrigerators back then. Okay, here's the deal. He would take his wares to a marketplace and set up his shop. And if he wanted to sell, say, carpets, he'd have some carpets there. If he wanted to sell some barrels of fish, he'd have some barrels of fish there. Some fineries. And perhaps he worked with the guilds of craftsmen, like for swords, armor. He'd have a few of those things in his shop. And you dealt with him as a middleman instead of going straight to the people who did the actual labor. He wanted to make a profit, and they usually didn't want to travel all the way to the market, which is why this system worked. Say groups like the Empire of Medieval Pursuits and the Empire of Chivalry and Steel are really good organizations, provided they don't just do combat. Recently, they started adding things like feasts, and there were just dances and so forth. The Society of Creative Anachronism caught on to that idea pretty early. But the thing is, there's much more to medieval life than all that. You had the courts, the royal courts, where usually that's where you go to dance or feast if you're nobility. And if not, you'd be feasting outside, like the peasants. That's another story altogether. But, the merchant was a very important part of medieval life, which is what I think should be disseminated into the culture that's in these game societies, such as the Empire of Medieval Pursuits, and Empire of Chivalry and Steel, and Society of Creative Anachronism. They need to put more detail into their societies to grow stronger and have commerce built up that way. Now, there is what do you call a general type of currency. It's not specific to the groups. The organizations. You can use a generic type of currency between each different one, and they're called tokens, but they are stater tokens. They are stater tokens with images of ancient medieval kings and so forth. And with on the flip side, you see what they're worth, and that's the basic concept of that. Now, to do this is very expensive. The penny, or what you would call a small change, would be like made of pewter or copper, or even better, the more expensive coins, gold or silver. It's not that different than the mint in the United States Mint. And the only reason why they're legal in these game societies is because they're actual tokens. Like Walt Disney has tokens. You go to their shops, and they have like video games and stuff and places. Maybe I'm thinking of some other organization instead of Disney, but they have like video game shops where you get a token. Some people say tickets, but I think for video games you want to use tokens. You have to put in a machine instead of a coin, and you play the game. Now, this is where it was originated from, and using a very special type of token, you can pass it off as currency in the Japanese societies, or semi-precious stones, like turquoise, an opal, pearl, something like that, in a bag, you carry it around with you. And they set up their own value system in each different organization. That's where they want to let you purchase something with that. Because it's got to be the real thing, and the pearl's usually discouraged because there's a lot of fake pearls going around, plastic. They don't like that crap. It's not worth anything. You're cheating. It's considered a counterfeit. So that probably won't ever catch on. Although in the olden times, they'd have strings of pearls, and they would trade in merchant places, the markets. And we can't really do that today because, like I said, a lot of counterfeiting going on with plastic pearls. So you would probably use, say, a turquoise stone, or a let's see, what do they call? Oh, quartz. But the quartz, you have several of them to make up enough currency. It'd be like paying something worth $1 or something. Yeah, maybe about 10 quartz stones to fit in the palm of your hand. See, and it'd be like, say, equivalent of $1. And there are rubies you can get, rubies or red agates. They'd have to look at them to see. It's very iffy getting these really precious stones because they're too easily substitutes are a counterfeit. Don't like that. So more likely it'd be like semi-precious stones, like an opal or something. Or just a polished stone, it's semi-precious. They'd have to set up the system themselves. But more than likely, you'd be using, to get rid of the confusion, tokens. And like organizations like Disney has their own money, right? Their own cash, paper money. Disney dollars. Yeah, but you can't really call them dollars or anything. These are... what's the technical term? Promissory notes. Promissory notes are legal anywhere you go. I think in the world, mostly in the United States. But promissory notes, they're printed up by the society. You paid for them. You bought them. They're like coupons. You can go ahead and spend those promissory notes in the game society, in the market. Now, the marketplace has more than just merchants. They have musicians. They have bars and things. For a certain fee, they'll come with you, and they'll play at your feast. The marketplace is a very big place for commerce. And this is very important to take into account for organizations such as the Society of Creative Anachronism, the Universal Office Society is getting involved in things like this. The Empire Medieval Pursuits and the Empire Chivalry and Steel and game societies, things of this nature where fantasy takes place and holds sway in a medieval setting. So, on that note, I'm going to have to leave you. This is the topic of marketplaces and currency in medieval game societies. I'll have to shorten that for the heading here. But that's what this topic is all about here in this video. And I just thought I'd put the icing on the cake. Say, how come we never talked about this? Well, I actually did just now. And this is the last time I'll be doing these videos. Probably because I'm getting a new iPhone with a different phone number, and you know how YouTube is. You know, they won't recognize you as the same person. I thought it's just too difficult to get back into the same, you know. Well, whatever. You know, you get the idea. Anyway, yeah, I'm figuring since I get my new iPhone, and let's see, what is this? We're getting to August, September, October, November, December. Probably in about 6 or 7 months, I'll be getting my new iPhone. So, yeah, I'm planning ahead. And I thought, why not make one last video to help people in an area that is not actually well defined, because nobody's actually ever talked about it. And I'm the one talking about it here at Paul's Place. Yeah, that's what this is. Here on YouTube. At 1533 on YouTube. Well, that's it, kids. Have a great life.